Okay, so I am watching YouTube videos and I'm seeing, and I was looking on Twitter too, and I saw some stuff that said that at a Disney shareholders meeting, they actually brought up firing Kathleen Kennedy, which I'm surprised by because I said previously that I thought that as long as shareholders were happy with their money the way it is, that the likelihood of her getting fired wasn't very good. And so that this came up at all surprises me. Now I guess they are more tuned in to what the fans are doing, and at this point you have to wonder, I mean, whether it's Warner Brothers or you know um, Disney or whatever, you know to put the fans off doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, like I said, box office, especially in last year, didn't matter that much. I understand overseas, in countries where their COVID has gone better, maybe those countries have become important, but maybe more important than we are right now in terms of box office and things like that. But if the shareholders get rumblings of fans being unhappy with Lucasfilm and feeling like Kathleen Kennedy is the cause, I don't see the real reason why she'd be kept around. Like I said, this woman did nothing to me. I don't know that much about her. I know that her name was on everything, but I do know that with the sequel trilogy, which I have the worst time saying, um, she oversaw that, and there were a lot of problems, and there was a lot of sort of provoking the fans and making them angry unnecessarily, and then the quality of the pictures wasn't there. And like I said, Rise of Skywalker, you know, had to suck as bad as it did to make as little money as it did. It made a lot of money, but it should have made so much more, being the last installment of what should have been the Skywalker saga. So I guess the new CEO Disney, who I guess he's taken over Bob Iger, right? That's taken a long time. I don't know why, but it says his name's Bob Chapek. Chapek. I don't want to say it wrong. Um, I don't know him. I looked on the Wikipedia, said he ran the parks and stuff. I've never been to one of the parks. I never had that kind of money. um, but they asked him if they were going to fire her, and he's like, no, she's secure there and everything's fine. I mean, I don't know if he expected to be asked, but just to say that her future is perfectly solid, I mean, I guess he sidestepped the question, but not really. It kind of sounded like, no, she's here to stay. And like I said, I don't know. If I was in charge, and I'm not in charge, but like I said, I'm old. I was a little kid fan. Um, I look and I see who's around. I did not watch The Mandalorian. I am a fan of the movies, and that's the bread and butter of what Star Wars is. Yes, there are all these other things. There are all these other, like I said, Clone Wars and stuff like that I didn't really get into. But in terms of the quality of the pictures, I was really let down. First by George Lucas selling it in the first place, but then, even though I love The Last Jedi, the trilogy there, that sequel trilogy, um, it shouldn't have sucked that bad. I mean, to me, I'm gonna blame J.J. Abrams first, who now he's doing Superman, which I don't understand. There are more people. I mean, even if nobody wants to punish J.J. Abrams, or they think there are more than 3 people in Hollywood. You know what I mean? There are more than 3 directors. There are more than 3. Like James Gunn gets fired, then rehired, then hired over there. The way people are, the same people get recycled on every project and everything. I don't understand, but okay, whatever. Um, I would blame J.J. Abrams first, because to me The Force Awakens set everything off on the wrong path, just being a retread. And then Rian Johnson came in with a vision, and it wasn't handled correctly with the fans, even though the movie was great. I thought other people didn't. Fine, whatever. And then the hot mess that was The Rise of Skywalker, which nobody should even talk about. But like I said, based on that, that's grounds to fire somebody. But if they have other reasons, I don't know. Now, again, I don't know, based on things I see on YouTube from people making videos and stuff. Maybe Jon Favreau is upset, and I put his name forward. Just like I said, a lot of other people talk about Dave Filoni. I don't know who Dave Filoni really is, okay? But I know who Jon Favreau is. I know him because, besides being a Star Wars fan, I am a movie buff. He's a good director. And when we talk about the kind of person you would want running something like Lucasfilm, if we compare Kathleen Kennedy to somebody who has done it right, the name you always think of is Kevin Feige, because of his handling of the MCU and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But we have to remember something about that Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is why I say, if I was going to pick somebody to run Lucasfilm, I pick Jon Favreau. I'm not saying he wants it, but let's suppose he did. We're looking at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're looking at that, the success of that, and what Kevin Feige did and everything. But let's not forget how perfect Iron Man was, how perfect it had to be to lead off the entire thing. And I remember sitting in the movie theater. I knew who Jon Favreau was. I watched that film, and, you know, when I hear Iron Man, the song at the end, I was like, that was a perfect end to pretty much a perfect movie. Now, I, wasn't a big Iron Man fan, back in the day, but I just sat there and I was like, this was awesome. And I was like, Jon Favreau did this. Oh my God. Now, he's made good movies. I'm trying to remember the name of the cooking one. You know what I mean? And a long time ago, I bought this movie he had done with Sean Bean, was a cowboy. I'm forgetting names of everything because I have old age. But he knows what he's doing. He seems like a level-headed person. The people who hated The Last Jedi and were so disappointed and hated everything that happened, he did The Mandalorian. Everybody, wants to have his baby after that because he brought in Baby Yoda. He did everything. Everybody was so happy. Then the people who hated The Last Jedi loved how he brought in Luke Skywalker. And I'm just like, if they need to fix Lucasfilm, to me, he's the guy. Now, again, like I said, I don't know if he wants it. But if he didn't want it, he would know who to get. He would know who to hire. And I understand right now, amongst the woke mob, there would probably be insane amount of outrage and many hit pieces on how could they fire this powerful woman and replace her with a dude. Well, you know what? She fired a powerful woman. She fired Gina Carano, and that's why they're being dragged through the mud right now, because I believe she fired her. It could be this guy, Bob Chapek, but they had something that was working, and all of a sudden they don't. And if Kathleen Kennedy's the head of Lucasfilm, that says to me she would have been the one to make the decisions. If it's true that Jon Favreau is upset about how things went, if everybody is afraid to speak or say anything about it, like Bill Burr or anybody else who's on the show, they can't even come out to support their, cast member who was fired for sharing opinions on social media that were nothing like they were purported to be. Something's really wrong. Nobody wants to work in that kind of system where you have somebody who's, I don't know, it's just, it seems like there's bad juju there. There's bad vibes going around over at Lucasfilm. The fans have bad vibes about it. They are no longer watching some of the things that they were watching before, some of the streaming stuff. Um, if the shareholders are now having a problem, or they're being alerted to the fact that there is a problem if they weren't before, I have a hard time understanding why they would keep somebody on who's so divisive and makes everybody upset and, you know, seems to hate the fans. Because I don't know, there's been a real push towards, you know, that whole the Force is female thing. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with men. There's nothing wrong with male Star Wars fans. I mean, everybody just wants to be a Jedi. Everybody just wants to enjoy the movies and be a kid and you know, at heart, and just have fun. And when people are having fun, it gets ruined. You know, when people are enjoying a character like, you know, that Cara Dune that Gina Carano is playing, it gets ruined. You know, and people don't know why, and it's over silly things that, in the grand scheme of things, nobody's ever going to pass the purity test. Not one single person's going to pass the purity test that they've chosen to give certain people and let other people roam free, like James Gunn. You know, he can say and do whatever he wants. He can appear to be a pedophile or tweet pedophile type things, but he gets pretend fired and then rehired, like I said, from both studios. So it's just, there's an unfairness there. It doesn't make sense. If all this kerfuffle has reached the ears of the shareholders, and with the shareholders alerted to it, if she's still in power, just upsetting everybody, I don't understand that. And I wish we could go back to liking things and having it be about good movies and enjoyment, and the fans, you know, you give them what they want, you know. You give them what they want. You don't say, okay, well, yeah, you're fans of this. We're going to force feed you this stuff you don't like and triple dog dare you to get rid of your subscription or to keep buying our products and toys and keep going to our movies, you know, out of some sense of loyalty. But you don't have loyalty when people ignore you like that. And, you know, I feel bad because people were inspired by Star Wars again the way I once was as a little kid. Because, you know, like I said, people like Jon Favreau brought it back from the brink, and then they turn around and they fire one of the key elements, a strong female, and yet they're like, nope, we're sticking with the plan, we're staying, we're gonna, what did they say in Wag the Dog? We're not gonna change horses midstream. What was it? Something like that. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I wish that there wasn't so much angst all the time about this stuff. I wish people could just enjoy the movies, like I said. Maybe we're not going to enjoy movies ever again with the way the world is, but I don't know. I feel like there's an answer there. If it's not Jon Favreau, Chef. That was the name of the movie. What was the other one? The Big Empty. See? It takes a while for my brain to get cranking, but I know he did Swingers, but those were the ones I liked. I didn't like Swingers that much. But, you know, he had his little dinner show that he used to have. He seems like a very affable, diplomatic type guy who could smooth over everything if that's what they wanted to do. But, you know, we'll see. It's just sad that people have to be so angst-ridden and all the time about something they used to love. But I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it.